Greetings, everybody. Welcome to episode 2 of the Alex West Escapades. Want to thank everyone for listening to episode 1 with my ninja, B. Hutch. We're going to get him back on very soon. And before we get into episode 2, just want to go over a few things. Thank the followers, thank the fans. And if anyone has any recommendations, hit us up. I'm on Twitter, _Alex West. New website coming, new projects, a lot of cool stuff in film and TV land. Bunch of exciting things happening this summer. And without any further ado, we're going to get into this brand new episode with my man, Darnell Snyder. We're going to talk film, TV, little philosophy, and then we're going deep. Ancient aliens, UFOs, deep underground military bases. Hold on to your horses. These are the escapades. He got instructed to skip first grade. He once sold his own lemonade. Power cleans faster than the Minute Maid. These are the Alex West escapades. We are in the building with my man, associate ninja, powerful Darnell Snyder / D-Loc. D-Loc, how are you, my friend?
Doing great. How about yourself there? Rage Nation.
Doing well, man. Haven't seen you in a few months. Can you tell the folks a little bit about yourself, what you do, and what you're up to?
Yeah, well, my name is Darnell Snyder. Work in the film industry. Deal with a lot of location things, logistics, type work. You got a project. You got interiors, exteriors that you need fine. That'll be under my department, and we maintain the crew and get them to get their shots safely, very safe, especially now what's going on in our industry. But other than that, I think that's about sums me up.
Certainly a crazy industry. I met Darnell around about July of 2009 on season 3 of Army Wives, which we shot here in Charleston, South Carolina. So 2009, how much work in the film biz had you done since then, or was that kind of about your start as well?
Yeah, I did. I first got started on Dear John. I did an internship in the extras casting department, and from there I got hooked up with a good guy named Neil Gray. Shout out to Gray Man.
Gray Man.
He kind of showed me the ropes of what was going on in locations, and then I just stick with it. Learned a lot under Robert Basha and Steve Yeckman. Yeah,
good crew. Darnell and I worked together for a couple years and a couple seasons of Army Wives, and on some other sets here and there. It's been a blast. No shortage of entertainment.
Oh, definitely not.
Is the location department something that you see yourself going forward with?
I believe so. At some point I do want to actually get more into producing, but I think that's like one of the closest areas for me to get into, because I have to deal with budgets, and I have that, that kind of gets me prepared and ready to, go make that leap forward. Trying to be like my friend, Rage here. He producing everything everywhere, but
try. Rage Nation in the building.
Oh yeah, definitely. But proud of him about the things he's been doing, and it's good to see somebody from Charleston actually getting it done. So but with me in locations, I think it's gonna be a nice launching pad for me to get everything situated.
I've seen some stuff you produce and direct as well, and you have some connections to the local music scene. Do you have any projects you've done recently or stuff on the horizon you're able to talk about?
Yeah, actually.
Stand by, we got some church bells going on. Actually, it may or may not be Sunday.
My brother-in-law, his name is Rip Kane. We're trying to do like a short film / maybe maxi EP. Gonna do like something 30 minutes, and then intercut videos into the actual movie. So something different for the hip hop community that kind of gravitate towards. See about starting a new movement.
Okay.
How about yourself? What you got going on there, Reed?
Oh man, all over the place. I believe last thing we worked on was season 1 of Reckless, which was shot here in Charleston, South Carolina, between August and December of 2013.
Oh yeah.
I did some crew work on that. D-Loc was in locations. I was traveling on another gig to close the season, but how did the rest of the show turn out?
It actually turned out pretty good. We premiere June 29th, 9 o'clock on the CBS network. So check that out.
Mark it on your calendars.
Trying to tell you, but we did we did a lot. There's a lot of good shots that we did. Very entertaining. Got a lot of hot females in the show, so the guys gonna have some eye candy to look at, and the ladies got some eye candy for them as well. So I'm pretty sure it's gonna be a good show.
Did you think it's gonna be more than one season, a recurring type thing?
I believe so. I think that once people get their head around the show, it's gonna envelop them just like any other long-running TV series, especially for the CBS network, because these guys put out good quality work. So I think it might be a good hit. It should be a good hit.
Solid. Well, yeah, man. Since then, I've been all over the state shooting an MMA documentary called Hometown Tough. There's a trailer out. More info to come as far as the pilot and release info. And then I got hooked up with this fishing show, Wild Bills. Shout out to my team at Catch Multimedia. The executives are actually down in Key West right this second, finishing the whole deal. It's probably a good thing I'm not there because it's a haven for the rage.
I can imagine.
We're trying to keep things under control these days.
I can imagine.
Just kidding, though. Anyway, so yeah, I've been doing a little bit of production assistance, a little camera operation, and most recently editing.
Okay.
And taking out my time. Still got some music videos developing and some other stuff, but you know how we roll, man.
Oh yeah.
Just staying diverse and balancing several things at once while we can.
Oh yeah, got to keep moving.
But yeah, one thing I wanted to talk about is something you and I have always shared an interest with, and that is not just science, technology, and history, but ancient history, so to say, and how it could correlate with some modern day unexplained phenomena.
Oh, okay.
So, the folks listening, you probably know the show Ancient Aliens and all that, and not to say that y'all have seen every episode, but
we have seen every episode.
D-Loc and I are pretty well versed with the subject matter, the controversy. The struggle is there's so much disinformation out there. It's hard to balance it all. What is your method of sifting through all the information that's out there and forming your best opinion on what has happened and what is going on?
Well, what I try not to do is just follow what everybody else puts out there as a fact, because you can go on the internet and you can pull up these videos, different things like that, and it seems like it's authentic, but then 2-3 years down the line, people will say that it's not authentic. What I try to do is, take everything that they're talking about is out there. You just have to go find the original documents or find the original people that these people have went to get some of their information. When I first started thinking, thinking about the ancient aliens and the Anunnakis and all those guys, I actually got turned on to it by a book called The Holy Tablets by a guy who the guy wrote it was his name is Dr. Malachi York. But he had some legal problems, so that kind of discredited him. Mm-hmm. But the things that he had in the book were so crazy and just like kind of far out there that you would think that this guy is just wigging out. But it came to pass that History Channel, when they came out with Ancient Aliens, the things that he had in the book was actually true, because if this guy was saying this and that he's supposed to be some quack, why would the History Channel bring other scholars? To talk about it.
Was that Malachi York?
Yeah, it's Malachi E. York.
New York. Was he based in Georgia?
Yeah, he was the guy that had the Nuwabian they call a cult or whatnot. But it was a compound of these guys. It looked like Egypt, but it was in Georgia.
What if all these people who are thought of as crazy are actually correct? It's just the subject matter and information that turns them into crazy.
And that is a good possibility. And you know, you just gotta take everything with a grain of salt, and you got to sift through what is possible, what's real, and what's not possible. A lot of these guys, like Eric Von Daniken, George Tsoukalos, and a couple of those guys from Ancient Aliens. These guys put their time and their money to go to these different places to research it. It's not like these guys are making these stories up. They're not making up these buildings. They're not making up these artifacts that they're finding. It's like you can go to like museums and you can see Sumerian clay tablets with cuneiform. You can see depressions on the scrolls that look like a solar system. You can see these things. These aren't things that these guys are making up. So, you know what I'm saying? You just gotta do your research. I'm telling you, people, do your research and you.
There's a lot of physical evidence to support the
theories that they're coming up with. Yeah. Seriously, it is.
I mean, some of the guys that I trust the most are, like you said, Von Daniken, Graham Hancock is a big one.
Definitely. I didn't realize that he actually had his hand in Fringe, and I kind of realized that after watching Fringe. Like, yeah, that's why they came up with these different theories about things, because of his, the way he's thinking. So
yeah.
Y'all might need to check that out. Get that back on TV.
Yeah, how long have you been interested in this? Have you always been a fan of history, and then something triggered a deeper
I think
insight?
I can honestly still remember the date. I was in sophomore in high school, and it was crazy because I was smoking some weed with a couple of my friends. And I just, I just looked up in the sky and I just noticed, really for the first time, the constellation of Orion, and how really close it really is to the Earth. And then you look up and you see the Orion's belt. And then I started to do some research on it, and I started to find out that the pyramids lined up with the star, with the belt. And then I also found out that you have places in South America that line up with the belt. And that's like, okay, if these ancient civilizations never crossed the water, as the history books tell you, people, how is it possible that you have the similar buildings and they're pointing to the exact same constellation? How is that possible?
Right.
From what history tells you, that the ancient civilizations did not have the possibility to cross the water, but we still have some of the same things in each culture. So, once I started to realize that, I was like, you know what? Something about history is not right. They're not telling us everything. And then from there, I just kept on.
It's a mind melter. There's a missing link, not necessarily only in the human genome and the evolution of the species, but in the delivery of knowledge to the ancients, how it got passed down. And now it doesn't just stop at 10,000 BC. I mean, there's records.
We're finding out that, especially like in Africa, it's a tribe called it's not the Dogon tribe, but there is another tribe. I can't remember the name, but it's in southern Africa, and they actually have found the mines that the so-called Anunnaki that were speaked of in the Chariots of the God actually they're still there. You can see the actual mines.
So do you believe in the whole theory of the mining for gold and all that?
Well, and I see that's the thing. Now,
for people who may not be as familiar with the subject matter, Eric Von Daniken wrote a book called Chariots of the Gods, and it basically dealt with kind of a divine or higher intelligence hand in the development of civilization, say 10,000 years BC to about 2,000 years BC. Those dates may not be exactly accurate, but they're close. And aside from that, it was Zecharia Sitchin who deciphered a lot of these Sumerian tablets that were found in the Middle East just within the last century alone.
And see, let me cut you off. Pardon, stop. Didn't mean to cut you off, but what a lot of people got to realize is that you're gonna have people that's gonna attack Zachariah Sitchin for saying that he misinterpreted. You just still got to realize that we're dealing with a dead language. No one alive actually can speak this language, and it's hard for him. It was hard for him to even decipher it. The reason why I give him so much credibility is because at least he tried to. You know what I'm saying? When he went to Iraq, he noticed something was wrong, because these things don't line up with what we consider to be history. And when he actually started deciphering the cuneiform, it may not be an exact word for word, but it's giving you a kind of a story behind it. So, for the people out there that want to discredit him, yeah, okay, maybe everything isn't 100%, but damn, 80% of of 100 is damn good to me. And for people like him to take their chance and to risk their careers on trying to educate people.
Has anyone else even come close to
It's another guy. I can't remember his name. On the next podcast, that we do, I'll have his name. But there is another guy that actually he said that he deciphered some of the cuneiforms, and he was saying that the tablets wasn't saying that they were called Anunnaki, but that could just be a name of a mistranslation from one group of people to a next group of people. Right.
That happens all the time.
Exactly, because you got different religions. They call their god this, but they call their god that, and it's like, okay, you talking about the same person.
It's like the 12 Greek gods and the 12 Roman gods.
Exactly,
they're all
the same people, but they just shifted the names around.
Right.
So I mean, that could explain some of the discrepancies, but hey, it's all to me. It's all trying to get people mind aware. Open up that third eye and think about something that history has been lying to us about since the beginning of time, pretty much.
How important do you think subject matter is like this, as far as educating the next generation, the current generation? Because it seems like there might be some answers as to the human history and past that could benefit modern day society if we would just look for our roots, so to speak, and to see how we came to be, rather than all this trifling.
Yeah, because what they're doing is you're crippling the younger people. Because let's just say if we weren't open-minded, we weren't looking at and discussing these things. We weren't looking and discussing, things of this nature. There's a lot of things that's happening that you can't explain. Mm-hmm. We got,
it's like hidden history, lost history.
Yeah, and it's like what they teaching these kids in school. Yeah, I understand you have to teach them a certain curriculum, but okay, let's say the day of tomorrow, a big UFO pops up in the sky without warning. Let everybody know what's going on for real. How can a parent look at their child with a straight face and, okay, well, this is where man and woman comes from. Okay, that's a lie. You looking at something right there. They ain't come from clay and mud and water and you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, it's once you start telling those lies, it's going to start as a small little pebble. But by the time it gets to these kids and they get older, it's going to be a big boulder.
It could be clay and mud if it was like the panspermia thing. If bacteria came here from a comet and landed in the ocean, it's a lot of crazies think that stuff.
Yeah,
but
I understand that.
I kind of believe in like the two timelines, like the natural development of life on Earth, and then I definitely think there was a manipulation.
Yeah,
closer to where our species came to be.
Yeah,
but we could literally talk for hours about this, and I wanna cover kind of other sections of this.
Okay,
but. Nowadays, there's a serious UFO phenomena, and you said you got into it when you were a sophomore in high school. Mm-hmm. I was a senior in college, and I'd already seen the documentary Zeitgeist, and kind of changed my perspective on what's real and what's not, and the deepest depths of conspiracy theories. And since then, I've definitely toned back a little bit. I don't jump on every single conspiracy bandwagon. It's not healthy to.
Yeah.
But I came across this book, and this guy's received a ton of shit over the past 3 decades. But his name is Claude Vorilhon, and he goes by Rael, like Rael. And basically, he's one of those motherfuckers who founded a UFO religion. All right, so you already subtract 100 points based on that. But he's a Frenchman, and he claimed to have an encounter, multiple encounters, back in the late 70s, and then another one in the early 80s. And he wrote this book called Intelligent Design. I read this thing in like a day and a half. It was like 400 pages. Once I started, like, I literally did not stop. My roommates in college were like, "What the hell are you doing?" I'm fucking sitting here on my laptop reading this UFO religion book. They're like, "You motherfucker." Anyway, he basically, the whole first half of it, he like translated the Christian Bible, and it really opened my eyes to see all the parallels and the connections to possible higher intelligence, technology, flying saucers, etc. And it was mind-blowing. Then a few months later was like the first season of Ancient Aliens, and I was like, hold up, was this dude actually on to something?
And so that's what it is. Like once you start researching and then you see somebody else come up with it, it's like, okay, how many people going to tell the same lie?
I'm not going to give this dude 100% credit for that, but because Von Daniken translated the book of Genesis, at least the Old Testament, a lot in his books, and some other people as well. But this is the first time I'd read anything that did it so detailed. And his other books are very positive. They're all about like promoting technology, human cloning. If you can call that positive. But he also had these ideas that in the future we would be able to, build things, houses, buildings, like immediately, to the point where nowadays we couldn't even fathom it. And he's like, it's all digital. Kind of like he doesn't really say the simulation theory, but it's like there are things you can't even see with the human eye as far as the nature of the universe.
Exactly.
And then in the last 2 years or so, what's a hot topic? 3D printing. Now they're talking about using 3D printing to build a house in a day. Oh, so now I'm thinking back to this dude. I'm like, not again.
Yeah, seriously.
This dude's writing these crazy books in the 70s.
And a lot of the stuff why they don't want, they try to discredit all these things is because, for one, it's going to make our civilization much cleaner. It's going to make our civilization much better and more healthier for us. Just imagine if, let's just say you can build a house in a day. Let's just say that would put it in the homelessness.
Okay.
Let's just say if we had the technology to use propulsions like how the so-called UFOs use, we would cease to need gas.
Are you referring to a lot of the Stephen Greer research?
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? So
Stephen Greer with the Disclosure Project and Sirius Disclosure, SIRIUS. Check it out. It's fascinating.
It's just going to make our lives better, and isn't that what we're really trying to work for? To to make ourselves a better civilization.
We should be.
You know what I'm saying? So some of the things that I've read and some of the things that I've learned about, I can't help but to think, okay, it's something else out there that we're not tapping into, because if the ancients were building things that we can't today build it with our technology, and they had way less technology. From what the history books say, they didn't have the technology. So us as our civilization, we have a way more advanced technology, but we can't build the same things that these guys were building with damn copper irons and fucking chisels.
It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, that's impossible. But
we're too busy worrying about the Kardashians and the TMZs.
Wow. Yeah.
But I wanted to get to a couple of documents. One thing I've also just been completely fascinated with, since you start digging down these rabbit holes and you find segues and tangents, and you could do this your entire life. A lot of people do, and they devote their entire life's work to research like this. But there's a lot of debate and speculation about the presence and existence of using government money to build underground
Dumps.
bases. Yeah,
Well-
deep underground military bases, DUMBs.
Dumps.
What can you tell us? What do you know about this? How much is true? How much is disinformation? And what kind of ramifications could these hold?
Okay, well, for one thing, we already know that they're true.
Okay.
We have examples.
How do we know that?
Kai, the Cheyenne Complex Center in, I think it's Montana or whatnot.
Okay.
That's a perfect example. That is what a dumb is.
Okay.
We also know for a fact that the military, the back in the day, World War II, the Nazis were the first ones to start building dumps.
Okay.
We know they are there.
Were they doing it in Germany?
They're in Germany, all over Berlin, because he were building bunkers. So, but they actually had these caverns and whatnot.
Well, it's nothing to worry about. It's not like they took over NASA or anything.
Well, you never know, because the guy, Werner Braun, he came from the Nazis.
Oh man.
And also, the crazy thing is, there were dumps back in ancient civilizations. They had dumps, and that's proof. It's a certain episode on Ancient Aliens, they actually show where the people had caverns under like the mountains, and they could survive. And it was one area where if you spoke, the vibrations would carry out throughout the whole complex. So I know that they're facts. That's a fact that we do have dumps. Now, I can understand why the military and our government, are doing these things, and I understand everybody wants freedom of information, but we got to be realistic. Everybody can't deal with that information,
Right.
because
A lot of military stuff needs to be kept secret.
exactly, and I think if the military and our government just meet us halfway, it's like, okay, there is such things as UFOs, there are such things as extraterrestrials, but what you guys got to realize that a basic walking dead person out there can't comprehend that.
Right.
They would literally not. Their whole social life would collapse if they were to see an alien walking around, or if they see a UFO just pops up.
Right.
They were like, okay, what's going on? What is this? This can't be something because it's not in the Bible. It's not in any religious type thing. So I can understand why they keep it so secret.
Well, I agree that they should keep things secret for a national security point of view. We live in the nuclear age.
Mm-hmm.
So any tests they're doing down there, any surveillance they're doing down there, that's going to protect this country and the world from a nuclear war. Maybe the public doesn't need to know the location of every center like that.
Yeah, because what will happen is you have, once mass hysteria settle in, everybody's going to be going to these different areas.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, that's not how you're going to save humanity if something like that were to come down to it.
But if there are other species living underground or among us, and the government is intentionally keeping them withheld, their existence a secret, are they just delaying the inevitable? Is there a way they can trickle it in slowly? Are they already doing that in the entertainment industry?
I think that's what it is they're giving people an idea of what's going on to kind of wean them into it slowly but surely. But I mean, just from some of the research that I've done, you have some good extraterrestrials, you got some bad ones. That's just like with people, and that's how universe is. You have a positive, you have a negative. So they're trying to look at it as far as, okay, which if there are the extraterrestrials with the military, their job is to figure out, okay, who can we trust, and because technically they can't control them. Okay. We as a human species, we still pretty much babies compared to other life forms that have come to this earth. We're considered baby to them.
Yeah.
So we can't control that. Only thing we can do is possibly learn something from them and re-engineer their stuff so we could possibly get on their level. Because right now, hell, what can we do?
They probably look at us like a bunch of ignorant fools because
Exactly.
we're still fighting each other. You can't.
Exactly.
It's almost like they wouldn't even have the respect to give us, or we haven't even earned their respect until we can live in harmony, which could be 100 years away if it happens at all.
Exactly. You know, and because I remember President Reagan said this in front of the United Nations. He was like, it would possibly take a foreign extraterrestrial threat to bring mankind together. Why does that need to happen? Why can't we just be in harmony?
Religion plays a part. I mean, that's they've written books about this stuff. But do you know the Phil Snyder story?
Yeah.
That was one of the first things that got my attention about the Dumbs and Dolce and everything.
And you actually put me on to that. One day we were working on Army Wise, as a matter of fact. And what I did was I started researching. I started typing in Phil Snyder. I started typing in a lot of stuff about the Dolce base. And the information is out there, people. You just have to go look for it. This guy, Phil Snyder, they keep saying that this guy committed suicide. But first it was a stroke. Okay, how do you go from having a stroke to committing suicide? You know, and that's the funny thing. It's like people you got to sift through the bullshit, people. Don't listen to everything they tell you.
Yeah, I mean, this guy was a major whistleblower. People Google Phil Snyder whenever you get a chance. Worked for the government, literally engineering these underground bases, and told this crazy story. I think it's still on YouTube.
Oh yeah.
About a basically shootout with some
aliens, with some greys,
and
tall greys.
some FBI, some government officials got killed. It's mind blowing.
Yeah.
It's out there. If it's true, we better saddle up. You know, hide your kids, hide your wives.
But see, that's the thing. It's like some of the like what he was talking about with the aliens, like underground. There's a story about reptilians living under California. I mean, it's like these stories aren't coming from like crazy, damn psychotic people as in a nutcase. These are actual like professional people that we trust to do damn jobs.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, if we can trust you to build these bunkers for us, we can trust you to like do geological surveys. Why the hell can't we? If something is down there, people, we need to start believing these people, and start investigating it. I mean,
what's the answer? What's the answer for us? Is it just more promotion of information, promotion of peace, even distribution and fight for equality? How can we get this information out and make the world a better place?
Well, honestly, like minds are going to gravitate towards like minds. And, it's our job for the people who have their eyes open and their minds open to not force you can't force the knowledge on people. What you have to do is, if you get them to ask a question, that one question that you can plant in their head, just like, what's the movie called? Inception.
Okay.
That one idea will grow into something else.
Classic.
Because if you think about it, when you first read the book, the first question you probably asked yourself, the book answered. And then you came up with another question, and the book probably answered.
Yeah.
And when you couldn't get any more answers out of that book, you started going researching for other answers.
Yeah.
And that's what happens.
For the listeners, don't just take what we say as, the end-all, be-all truth. Go out and look for yourselves.
Yeah.
And then, it was like, there's a YouTube video, Ancient Aliens Debunked. And you're like, oh, But then this article came out that was Ancient Aliens Debunked. And it's like, bam.
Exactly.
Suck on those. But
and that's what you got to realize. Like, it's a lot of credible people that's doing these things now. I mean, you got the guy, a former prime minister of England. This guy is serious right now about getting all of the information.
The Canadian one too.
Yeah. Those it's Canada, South America.
A lot of Air Force guys. Everyone.
You know what I'm saying? And these are military people. These are people that have security clearances that's talking about just trying to educate us. We're not listening. It's like, okay, what's going to take? A whole armada of UFOs will pop up, and then I'm like, you know what? These guys were telling the truth. We should have been listening. Well, yeah, you should have been listening, and you should have been doing your own research to find out what the hell is going on.
Yeah.
Because if we
They may be trying to tell us something.
yeah, they are telling us something.
I mean, they might want to put it in the air.
Right now it's so crazy that humans are just so arrogant to believe that we're the only creation that God's source energy spit out. That's crazy. The galaxy, the universe.
I really do think that mindset is starting to shift towards a more open mind.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't really met a lot of people lately that don't, at least that aren't open to the option of life elsewhere. But you do see a lot of people like in the polls or on the internet or on TV that are still stuck in this world was created 6,000 years ago stigma.
And you can't, because our world is not static. Our world is dynamic, and it's constantly going to change. And that's what it does. It changes. And these people y'all need to wake up. I'm trying to tell you need to wake up, because if you don't, it's going to be too late.
It's all connected too. Even if you look at, in my opinion, it's all connected. If you look at quantum mechanics and all that, they're starting to have discoveries and proof that time is not continuous.
Yeah.
Time it warps around in these dimensions. It's
technically
infinite.
There's no such thing as time. We created time. There is no time.
Whoa.
Think about it.
I think my brain just exploded.
I mean, if you think about it, in space, how can you tell time?
Rolex?
Okay. You can,
SpaceX.
but think about it when you're doing that. But let's just hypothetically speaking, you're telling time, but you're telling time where on Earth.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So there is no time.
That deals with a lot of the relativity stuff. As you approach the speed of light, time slows down.
Exactly.
Or speeds up, however it works. I believe it's like you get in a ship, you leave Earth, and you go the speed of light, and say a year in your life passes, you come back to Earth and like 6,000 years have passed.
Exactly.
Some crazy shit like that. So, if these saucers are real and the people operating those vehicles are real, it could just be time travelers. However, I'm not sure if it's people traveling back to us or people from our past that have traveled forward and landed here. And if you even want to chase down that idea path.
Now, what I'm thinking is that some of the things that we've seen is
it's like interdimensional.
That's another thing. They are proving that we do have different dimensions, and it's like up to 10 different dimensions. And if what I'm really starting to think and gravitate towards is some of these, like the ancient paintings that we see of people in like spacesuits that look like our spacesuits now.
Yeah.
We don't know that if maybe 5 or 10 years now we find a way to jump back in time. These guys might have jumped back in time and just got stuck there. So the people started worshiping them as gods, and they deified themselves.
Yeah.
And started teaching them, okay, well, y'all might need to do this, y'all might need to do that.
Do you know Freeman Fly?
No.
He's got a YouTube channel like Freeman Radio. He's got a podcast, but I don't listen to a lot of his stuff just because it's so out there. It's a little bit too much for me, but he deals with a lot of that. As far as I'll let y'all look into it, but he deals with some time travel stuff, like modern celebrities going back to the Egyptian days, and then weird relics popping up in a European museum based on a celebrity's death.
Wow.
I'm not going to get too detailed because you might think I'm crazy.
Wow.
But I'll admit I'm only half crazy. So, I reckon we will wrap it up soon. But D, I want to ask you where you get these books, or if you're allowed to tell me, where do you get links to these books? Do you just Google stuff? Are you are you actively searching for answers?
Yeah, what I do is, let's just say okay.
There's we're staring at some powerful PDFs right now.
Oh yeah. What you guys need to do is, if y'all serious about it, y'all serious about getting some knowledge. There's a bunch of different TV shows on the DirecTV network. Shout out to DirecTV. Love you guys. Y'all keep me informed. They have a science channel.
I hear Comcast is pretty popular.
No. Definitely not. Love the Infinity internet package. Love that. but no, sorry. TV, definitely DirecTV. But there's like 4 different channels. You got the History Channel that shows the ancient aliens. You have an ID channel that shows unsealed alien files. Then you have the sci-fi channel that actually shows oh my god, it's like it's like 4 or 5 different UFO shows that's currently on TV.
That you think are credible?
Yeah, they are credible because what it is, they're using the same people from Ancient Aliens, and they're just putting them in different things.
Okay.
These people are really putting the information out there.
What about America Unearthed? Have you watched any of that?
That's sick.
Really? I need to get it. I'm probably going to start from the beginning.
I'm trying to tell you, when you see the one where the guys found Egyptian gold in the Colorado in a cave, that's going to blow your mind because once again,
Noah clearly brought it over on the ark.
I guess because we were told that these people never crossed the Atlantic Ocean to get here. But what I did and what I would do from these shows, they'll mention reference books. So what I would do is, okay, let me see if this shit real, and I'll go search it, and I'll look for a PDF file of it, and then I'll look at it, and then what I try to do is, if this is something I learned from English class, you try to find references that they would have. If anybody who naturally going to do a book, and they could do it the right way, they're going to reference things. And you start looking at these references, and then that'll kind of let you know if this, if you got some credible stuff. Like right now we're looking at the Blue Planet Project book, PDF that I sent you. I got that. The only reason why I heard about it is because I watched one of the shows, and when they're talking about the Dose base with Phil Snyder. And one of the scientists that wrote this book. He documented it. So I was like, okay, let me see if some of the stuff in here is
so this is written by someone who worked there and got out?
Mm-hmm.
Does he keep his identity?
Yeah, they can't even find this guy anymore. He's like he just fell off the face of the earth. And when you look at it, this is the thing that people don't realize. Any document that comes from our government or any file, you can go find it. You might not be able to read it, but you can pull it out because they file it. It'll say classified, and it'll be blacked out, but it's right there. Some of those things that's in that book, you can see it. You can actually pull out files from our government and actually see it.
It looks legit. It also looks kind of scary, so prepare your mind ahead of time.
Oh yeah, don't read it at night. I'm trying to tell you.
It might change your whole view on the planet Earth. But yeah, some big influences that I had were the book Intelligent Design by Claude Vorlhan, which I believe can be downloaded online for free, completely legal, all that jazz. And then Lawrence Gardner's books, Genesis of the Grail Kings, specifically details the Sumerian king list and a lot of the Old Testament stuff with the intervention story and research. So again, if you're interested, which you should be, go out, get your knowledge on, hit us up if you have any questions. We just went a little bit deep, but we're only scratching the surface. There's going to be many more podcasts. Once again, we will be in the studio pretty soon. These will be on iTunes by the middle of the year. So thanks for listening. Stay tuned. Dee, do you have anything to promote? Where can the people reach you? Do you have a website in development or anything?
Not right now. You guys want to reach me, get on IMDb. They got my emails and stuff like that. Come, send me an email or anything. One thing I just want to say is just keep your mind open. You don't want to have a closed mind to anything because anything is possible.
Completely agree. All right, folks, that's all we got. You can find me on Twitter _Alex West. These have been the Alex West Escapades. Quick shout out to the band Atlas Road Crew, going to be playing at the Windjammer this Saturday, May 3rd. Don't miss out. Atlas Road Crew, ARC. Holla. Take it easy, folks.